I don't use these things every day. I don't do this for a living. So why do I still have this old ratty Craftsman toolbox? One reason. This was my grandfather's toolbox. We worked on a lot of cars together with it, with the tools that are in it. This is the toolbox I remember growing up going to visit Grandma and Grandpa, and that was quite a while ago. So yeah, this toolbox is, it's seen a lot, and I can't see getting rid of it. It still works fine. They're still making toolboxes just like this, although probably not in America. This toolbox does everything I need it to do. It's a little worse for wear. One of these days I'll probably restore it and sandblast the drawers and the cabinets and paint it if I get really ambitious. Otherwise, it works fine. So there are some tools in here that you might find interesting that my grandfather left in here. Some old school stuff made by IMP, I-M-P. It's a tube cutter. Back when they used to put patent numbers on everything. Imperial Eastman in Chicago. Pretty cool. I've used it a couple times doing brake lines when I was restoring 65 and 66 Mustangs. Micrometer. Screw pitch gauge. I've used that a few times. Here is some silver bearing solder. Lead free. I don't think this has anything to do with wheel bearings, but it's solder and I use it for electrical soldering. I have another roll of it in flux that I actually use. This is just something I didn't get rid of. It stayed in the toolbox. Here's an old Schrader air tire pressure gauge. Balloon tire gauge. Manufactured by Schrader and Son Incorporated. That is pretty old. Brooklyn, New York. Patent pending. I don't see a date. That would be neat, but that is some old school writing on that. Can't throw it away. 10 to 50 pounds. I don't use it, but you know, it's just nice to keep around. It's nice to know that my grandfather used this stuff. Kind of nostalgic. And this little gem, it's just a little metal box. It says Gillette on it. I don't know if you can see that. Gillette's razors, right? Well, this is actually a case for old school razor blades. Yep, Gillette blade. Something to be resharpened. Must be I don't know, something about resharpening. But that's old school shaving right there. I don't even have a razor to put this into. Everything is either electric or disposable nowadays. You don't see these anymore. And package on these says EPS Primos. Not made in Mexico. Made in Germany. Must be a good blade. So anyway, that is my toolbox in a nutshell. It does what I need it to do. It keeps what I need it to keep. And I get the jobs done that I need to do. I work on my own vehicles. I absolutely hate taking my car to a mechanic because to me that's like giving up. And everything that, every problem that I've ever had with a vehicle, I've looked at it as a challenge. So I take the opportunity to learn. Of course, I get on YouTube, I look in my Haynes manual, I look at forums. There's all kinds of resources you can use to get the information you need, like this HHR with this oil cooler. There's, I think, maybe one video about it on YouTube. I might be wrong about that, but I watched one video about it, and I didn't watch the whole thing. I just kind of got the gist of what the guy was doing. Don't do that with my videos, though. Make sure you watch them to the end. And so there's all kinds of resources you can use. Get the tools you need to do the work that you do. Don't feel like you have to have every tool, the best tool. You basically just need to have the tools to do the job that you need to do. There's plenty of places that rent tools, so they're basically loaning you the tool for free if you bring it back in the same condition that it was when you borrowed it, which is what you should do anyway. So I don't buy fancy tools unless I absolutely need to, and there's no other alternative, because I don't use these things every day. I don't do this for a living. I do this to keep my vehicles going, save money, and avoid getting ripped off at an unscrupulous mechanic shop, which I have run into several of those, where it just made me sick what they were asking for to do the job I needed to get done, such as setting the timing on my 99 Suburban. You gotta have a scan tool, dealer level scan tool or laptop to do that. You can't do it at home. That makes me mad. Anyway, so I don't mess with the distributor on that other than changing the distributor cap and rotor. I have a video for that, so you can watch that one. Anyway, that's all I got. This is my toolbox. It's nothing special. It keeps all my tools that I need to keep my cars going. If I get some other car that requires different tools, I'll buy those tools because I know that that's going to save me money in paying somebody else to do it. If you're new to the car hobby or you're maintaining your own vehicles, it's up to you to set up your toolbox the way you want to set it up. With my toolbox, I got my 1/2-inch drive stuff up at the top, and then 3/8 and standard, and 3/8 drive metric down here, and then miscellaneous 1/2-inch drive, and it's kind of a mishmash after that. My pliers are all over here, screwdrivers here, 1/4-inch drive stuff over here, nut drivers in here. So it's set up the way it works for me, and that's the way you got to do it for you. Don't let anybody borrow your tools. I used to tell my kids that if you want to get rid of an enemy, loan him $50. You'll never see him again. And you don't want your tools doing that either. Thanks for watching Jay Hunto's Garage, a cheap ripoff of a real car show.